release of Octopath Traveler, the upcoming Dragon Quest XI, Persona 5, Nier Automata, Final Fantasy 15, Valkyria Chronicles 4, Shin Megami Tensei 5, and this news from IGN.com that a commercially successful Nintendo-exclusive retro JRPG from Square Enix is something few would have predicted before Octopath Traveler sprang into being, but it may not be the last of its kind, with Wall Street Journal reporter Takashi Michizuki at Square Enix earnings conference tweeting that Square has a lot to say about Octopath Traveler and the fact that the conference we should expect more Octopath Traveler-like games.
I read that news today. That's so crazy. Mm-hmm. That like a Super Nintendo worshipping JRPG, which is different than a JRPG, right?
Yeah.
It is like this thing that they're talking about in their sales conference about doing more of. But I Am Setsuna is like that too, right?
So to answer your question, yes. We are in a JRPG renaissance for sure.
Okay.
But we have been since 1984.
So I said, I think it was on Scoop. Yeah. On Scoop last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, I said that I wasn't very interested in Octopath Traveler because I don't really like, JRPGs that much. That's just not my style of game. And then I went on to rant and rave about how much I loved Final Fantasy 15, which is a JRPG. And I think that thread of logic does track because Final Fantasy 15 is so different and is so Western influenced and it's open world. So, I hope I made sense there. But the point being, like, whatever flavor of JRPG you want is there for you now.
Yeah, JRPGs, I think, have a reputation, maybe undeserved, maybe deserved, for sometimes reaching too deeply into tropes. And I think people sometimes forget how different design-wise one is from the other just because the art may be similar or the story may be similar. But the gameplay approaches, particularly battle systems, are often extremely different. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
Well, I know that Disgaea 1 collection is actually coming out for the Nintendo Switch this fall as well. So if you guys like JRPGs, you should check that out. But no, I the battle systems are totally different. Even just the ones that you named off, like Nier Automata is like an action game more than a JRPG. Like there's no turn-based really at all, but it's very interesting and kind of out of bounds compared to a lot of other action adventure games we're used to, which I guess is where...
Do you guys think there's more JRPGs out right now than there have been in the past couple of years? I just don't follow that closely.
I think
they're viable, right? Like in terms of volume of releases, like I don't know, maybe or maybe not, but like they're steeped in like published consciousness and like their hype levels are really high again, and they're at like the forefront of like video game culture in a way that like I don't think they were 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean they were being made. They've always been made, but their success in the United States, I think, was really the part that was striking, and their widespread acceptance. I mean, you had gems like Ni no Kuni, pop out, or you had Xenoblade Chronicles 2, The Last Story, things like that.
What's actually been popular recently that's a JRPG?
I mean, the stuff
just Final Fantasy 15, right?
Octopath.
Well, but like not including a little Super Nintendo
Persona.
game.
Persona 5 was
like we're talking about like
important.
what sells 10 million,
Oh yeah,
Did
but I mean,
Persona
this
5
Are we
sell
really
well?
in a JRPG renaissance? I mean, come on.
I think we are. Yes,
If there's a lot of them and they're good, then yes. But I don't think they're selling like these crazy Call of Duty numbers or anything.
No, I don't
Monster Hunter Stories for sure. I'm kidding. It
but I
didn't
don't
sell
think
very
they're
well,
made.
but I loved it.
I don't think they're made to sell.
They are in Japan.
that
Dragon
amount.
Quest is the biggest series in Japan.
But even though I agree with that, but even though Dragon Quest is the biggest series in Japan and near and dear to my heart, even at its top sales levels, proportionally, it's not. Japanese game market simply doesn't sell as many games as here.
It's it's not a very big island. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, but a lot of people actually, about 130 million people on that little bitty island.
yeah, half the population of the United States.
Less.
Fewer.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say that it's funny to think about, are we in a JRPG renaissance right now with the context of like that just got me thinking about the actual Renaissance, and like that was like 300, 400 years of history, and how funny it is to think about what the first 100 years of video game history is going to look like. Like, what are the trends that are actually going to be the long-term trends?
I don't know.
Like, basically, multiplayer online games like Fortnite are at the beginning of the history of video games at this point.
Yeah,
We're
I
only like
agree.
40 years in.
It's so early. Yeah, the fact
It's
that
really funny.
No, I'm working on a project right now where it just occurred to me. I mean, I stood about 2 years ago at the Computer History Museum near here, and I played Space War next to Slug Russell, its creator. The first computer game from like 1962, and he's still standing there.
Yeah.
Like it would be like in any other medium.
Yeah.
We couldn't do that. We can't do that for movies or TV or books or comics or anything, but we can do it for video games.
Yeah, we are losing them though.
We are. Yeah, Ralph Baer passing away recently, and some of these folks getting pretty long in the tooth. So.